So I'm gonna send the request again and then see if that works. Okay, thank you. She's just already so nice. And like, I didn't drink coffee, so I could be as peaceful and calm as her, which probably is for the best. Yay!
Hi.
Yes!
This is your first live?
This is my well, it's technically my second, but my first live by like myself on here. So I was like, why don't we start big? Why don't we get one of my favorite authors?
Oh, that's great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And for everyone joining, her new book, A Radical Awakening, which is what we're pretty much
We're
going to
going
be
to talk about this book. Yes,
Yes.
Radical Awakening.
Like, she does book clubs every day, and I personally tune in just because it's amazing, and it's like free little advice, which who doesn't love that? And it's really just about our authentic selves, and in this day and age, I feel like we need it more than ever. So I guess my biggest question I wanted to ask you, Dr. Shefali, is like, how do people start? I think that's the best thing. It's like, we kind of remember who we were, but like, where do we even start? Like, what's the best way to just like reconnect to us?
Well, once you decide that you are in trouble and you've lost your authentic self, your true self, then just like you're going to start a new lifestyle or a healthy lifestyle, you have to come down to the basics. Okay, so for your authentic self, you have to learn how to connect. How do you connect? You have to take self-help courses. You have to take self-growth courses. I have many, for example, and other people have many. Or go see a coach or a therapist. And you have to start your journey. Just like when you want to lose weight, you have to, go to a gym. You have to maybe hire a nutritionist, learn new eating habits, follow people who inspire you. In the same way, in the self-help field, there are specific things you have to do. And you have to do them, And the hard thing about self-help is it's not about how you look, or it's not about how much money you make. It's about how you can be happy within yourself. So this book, A Radical Awakening, talks about how women can get into their own authentic power and get in touch with their own authentic self. And so reading books helps,
Yeah, and I think it's especially when you said like women especially, I feel like as I get older, like I had a strong sense of self when I was younger, but it's like as I get older and different like relationships and even like dynamics with friendships or personal relationships, it's like it chips away at you, and it's so like you blink and before you know it, like you're like, wait, what do I want? So that's why I highly recommend the book for everyone. I annotate, I'm a nerd like that, but it's so important. Like, so which brings me to like my next question. So, I think relationships, or the complexity of relationships, it's probably the hardest topic for people to really dive into, because it's not only yourself, it's another human being. And I love the book clubs and the little sound bites that you give on your Instagrams, where you talk about like our inner child and healing the wounds. And, we are our own happiness, which, yes, I love that. That's great in theory. But sometimes you're like, okay, if they're not, because I think it was last week or a few days ago when you said, if you're not abusive, you stay. You be patient. You try to learn somebody like how to do it. So my biggest question is, what is the best way you would advise? Like, they've done the work on themselves, but someone else's actions are hurting them, like they're in action, and if they've talked about it, they've, say, hey, X, Y, and Z would make me happy. And it's something like home cooking or watching a movie once a week. What would you advise, I guess, is the best thing? If it's just not happening, what do you advise?
Right. So when you know yourself and you align with yourself, you typically then begin to notice whether you are in alignment with other people. So you don't want to just watch a movie with them because that's what they want. You have to want to watch a movie with them because of the relationship and the connection. So, as we get to know ourselves better, as we grow older, begin to align ourselves with people who match to us, who more connect to who we are. And that takes a process. So for many years of our lives, especially as women, we'll do things for the other person because we're trying to be nice, and we're not enjoying it at all.
No, and it bites us, I think, in the butt. I mean, I know for me personally, like you can be the most confident person in business or just in general, and then it's like that one person, if they're not giving you what you need, and you know you've been, as you said, nice, you overcompensate to make them happy, and it's like you end up deflated. I think that's such a great topic that you discuss, and I guess, and with this modern day age, with like social media and the apps, especially with COVID, and people, our interactions are limited. So how do you advise, I guess, is the best way to even connect and look for the alignment nowadays with everything going?
Yeah, so in this book, again, we're talking about a radical awakening, and people want to know. In this book, I talk about how we are actually in false relationships. So we're in relationship through our own false self, and we're in relationship with people in their false self. And we don't realize that we are actually replaying our patterns from childhood. And so we think we're in a relationship with people, but we're not. We are in false self in relationship with their false self. So how can we be in true relationships is only when we begin to go on a true inner journey to get to know who we are. We are wearing masks, not just the other person. So, for example, if the person wants to watch boxing every day or watch pigs fight every day, okay, and you are wearing the mask of a people pleaser or a codependent or needy little girl in the relationship wanting to please her daddy, you're going to watch pigs fight for years, okay, symbolically speaking.
Right.
And you're going to lose yourself. You're going to bullshit your way into a complete fake life. And then you're going to fall sick, you're going to be angry, you're going to be frustrated, you're going to be eating too much, you're going to be apathetic, tired, procrastinating, exhausted, burning out, and wondering why. Why? And then one day, the beauty of all this is that it cannot last more than like 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
By 60, something's going to break. Hopefully, you want it to break early. You want it to break early. And the earlier it breaks, the better, because then you can rebuild your life. All lives in the false self will crack one day or the other. Or you're just going to put on a lot of weight or be a real addict, okay? Because you're suppressing it, right? So this is how we all live. I'm a therapist. I see this every single day. And the shell of the fake persona, the fake ego, is waiting to crack. So throw in one child, throw in another child, throw in a C grade, throw in a car accident and a job loss and enough pressure, and boom, it falls apart. And that is amazing when it happens, though it's the most painful thing ever, because you are at the bottom of the gutter. It's the rock bottom experience. And so how do you begin? You begin when the pain is too much, and hopefully you begin to look in the mirror and go, I got to do this differently. I got to do something differently. And in this book, A Radical Awakening, I talk about my own breaking point, my own rock bottom, and how I had to rebuild myself. And I teach the path. I give people the pathway. I don't just talk about that you should do it. I give the actual path. First you do this, then you do this, then this is what happens, da, 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 da. Because I work with so many people, so I know the path that you have to go on. But this book is not an entertainment book. It's not a biography or an autobiography. It's really, here's how to do your work. This is what you need to do.
Now, do you find, since in your career, do you find that it's easier to help people, guide them when they literally have hit rock bottom, or is it simply the willingness to change? What do you find is easier?
Most people are not willing to change till they hit rock bottom. So I don't know which one. But very few people are like, oh, everything is amazing and my life is amazing. I want to become better. No, they don't do that. They only come when the shell of the ego cracks, which is really hard because they're already 10 red flags late, 10 abusive relationships too late. Now they're in trouble. but that's when they're willing to really do the work. So that's a good place. It's a good thing, you know. So, and I see lots of clients, and I have a coaching institute where I coach clients, coaches to coach clients, and they have clients. So people are ready to do the work. There are lots of people who are willing to awaken to do the work, and it takes a lot of courage. So I understand how hard it is.
Yeah, it's like literally like you're, because I've read the book, and like I said, I read it and I watch your like your book clubs, just because some things are so heavy to like do it on your own. I'm like, okay, wait, she doesn't really talk about this. Like, do we have to go all the way back? And so it's so helpful that you are doing the book clubs, because it's like you're taking it, it's like we can digest it mentally, which is what I love. But what made you decide to write this book? Like, what, because typically you're doing deal with or your most popular books, I should say, are like the parenting and the and children, and this is just like, I mean, it's amazing, but you know, a radical awakening is, like you said, more for women. So what made you do the jump?
Yeah, so I've written, this is my fifth book. My first four books were on parenting. The most popular one is called The Conscious Parent, in case your audience doesn't know. And so this book is really about the awakening of the woman. And what made me write it was my own awakening, and seeing how women, especially mothers, especially women who reach midlife, are like dying. By the time, like you still look very young, but
Thank you. Celery juice. No, I just 30 and I literally had a meltdown. Like, I that's why I'm like, oh my gosh, I celery juice. But no, I literally hit 30 and I literally almost had like a 30 life crisis. I was like, what is life? And you look back and you're like, why am I not exactly where I want to be? Like, what have I sacrificed? So, you know,
well, you're so lucky to catch your sacrifice at 30. I had no idea I was sacrificing. I was so happy to sacrifice. And then I burnt out in my mid 40s. And when you reach burnout, and many women go through this,
yes.
And so I was watching it, woman after woman, in my practice. It was happening to me. And I was like, I need to write about it and shake women up, because what's missing in our world today is the awakened woman. What's missing in the world today is a powerful woman who is in her power in the most beautiful way, not against men at all, but just in her own power. The minute a woman is in her own power, she will not allow abuse. She will not allow injustice. So our earth is suffering, our children are suffering, the animals are suffering, because we women are sleeping. So this is the time for the awakened woman. And I really believe that this book will help women usher the way and create the pathway to heal men, to heal our daughters, and to heal ourselves.
Perfect. And then I guess my biggest question is, I know I hear it a lot, like with my friends. We've all set standards of how we want like our life to be. Like, oh, some people are like, I need to be married by 25, 2 kids by 30. Nobody ever thinks of a divorce or a breakup or starting over. So what do you say for women that literally they think it's too late? They're like, well, I miss my window.
Yeah.
Why? Like,
Yeah. So many people are writing that this book is for younger women, and I could not agree more. It is for women in their 30s, because it will prevent you from doing the rubbish we did ahead of you. Okay. So I hope women in their 30s realize that they don't have to get married. They don't have to have children. They don't also need to do everything on the list. They don't need to be skinny. They don't need to be perfect. This is a book that really allows women to see their true self in such a beautiful way, that you don't fall into relationships. Relationships are not the end all. And this book really shows you how marriage is now an old institution. And we need to reframe our ideas around love, around beauty, around youth, around power. And this book really helps women to shake up and go, don't do it like your grandmother.
yeah.
You know, that was because my generation and the generations before me were really sheep. We were all sheep. And your generation and the next ones are the ones who are going to shake up the world, if we haven't messed you up too much. But you are the leader now. Your generation is the one that I've really written this book for. And so that you can stop the pattern and break it, and really heal the men that you're with, and teach them that Women cannot be exploited. Women cannot be silenced. Women are ready to step up and claim their power.
And I think, which I mean, like I said, I annotate, I watch it, and it's beyond helpful. And I know in my own personal experience, if you have, like you said, you're all living with childhood trauma and what we've seen our parents do and our grandparents do. So how would you advise a woman that, you know, has a partner, but they are very, I would say, patriarchal, like very stuck in their ways? Women will not listen. You know, I don't really need to listen to you. It's my way or the highway. What do you think is the
Right.
best?
That is what we're up against. We're in a system that has historically and chronically dimmed women down, and women think that our role is to be sweet, to be kind, to be loving. I'm not saying not to be kind, but
Yeah.
we don't have to, we don't have to remember to be kind. We should be kind if that's what comes naturally. And we have been taught to please, to keep the harmony, and that is all a lie. You know, that is only going to keep us small. And I'm not saying we need to fight all the time, but we also, on the other hand, should be not told to not fight. We should just be told to follow our authentic voice. When we follow our authentic voice, we naturally are loving, kind, and harmonious, and we seek justice because we don't want to be trampled on. So when we're told to be nice, we're actually being told to be quiet. And it's time for us women to understand that we live in a patriarchy which has very toxic messages for men and women. And we need to turn the tide. We need to shift the waves now to a new ocean, to a new way of being. And it takes each woman to step up to the plate. And it takes women to own their co-creation in the dynamic. How have we been contributing to our own oppression? How have we been allowing the patriarchy to tell us how to look, tell us how to think? No, now we need to use our voice and step up in an authentic way.
Love it. And then my next question is, so people, they've taken the time, the women, they're authentic, and you know things are going great. They're more happy. They feel more fulfilled. What do you advise your clients when someone, like their authentic self, they still run into another issue? They run into it could be a friendship, a personal relationship that really questions or all the work that they've done. Maybe they make a comment like, "Oh my gosh, why are you different? Why are you weird?" Which, you know, if you're being yourself, it's like, well, I don't know, it's me, you know. So what do you advise?
Well, that's where you can, so one thing is to touch upon your authentic self, but the other thing is to protect that authentic self. So the culture will keep robbing us of our sanity. You know, culture will keep telling us, why are you doing that career? Why are you getting divorced? Why are you having only one child? You should have seven. Why are you not having children? Right? So culture will keep putting pressure because culture is based in fear. So we need to realize that culture is based in fear. And if we want to protect our authentic self, we need to fight culture. We need to recognize, oh, that's fear. That's fear. That is culture putting their opinion and their values on me. So part of this radical awakening is to wake up. The subtitles are turn pain into power, embrace your truth, and live free. Right? It is about owning your truth, protecting your truth, and standing up to culture. So this book gives you the permission, the language, the intelligence to stand up to culture, to go, oh, I get it. You're just telling me this because you want me to be a sheep. I understand. I'm not going to be one. It gives you power, this book. It gives you the courage to follow your own North Star.
Gotcha. And yes, you're just so amazing. Oh my gosh. What my last question I had for you is just, how do you stay balanced? Like, what meditation do you tell yourself when you wake up? Because you're always and like I say, all your Instagram lives and everything, you always just seem so calm and just very at peace and balanced. I just wanted to know, what do you say to yourself, or what like Zen music do you listen to just always seem so balanced?
Well, I meditate every day. I've been meditating since I was 21 years old. And when you meditate, what you understand about life is that all of this is a game, you know, it's an illusion. So nothing is real. You know, we are a speck on a speck on a speck of sand. Okay. That's how irrelevant we are. So all the highs and the lows that come with drama all come from your delusion that you are something. When you realize you're nothing, you're just like nothing to the universe. You have fun. You're just playing with life. And so I wake up every day ready to play with life, and don't get caught up in what are people saying about Dr. Shefali, or what are Dr. Shefali, Dr. Shefali. She doesn't exist. She's just a way to communicate. She's just a way to have fun. But people get caught with their mask. They get caught in the identity of being a mother, or being an author, or being whatever. And the minute you get caught in the identity, now you are married to the identity. And when you're married to the identity matters to you. Now you want to control your identity. But when you realize that you are zero, you are nothing, you're void, you're air, you're vapor, you're nothing, you're essence, your identity is just the way you play. So people can like you, people can not like you, and you have fun with it. You know, you're enjoying life. You're like, oh my God, she really doesn't like me, but you're having fun with it, because you understand that when people project their stuff on you, it's them, it's not you. They are taking themselves very seriously. You know, you're
Yeah.
not. You're like, oh wow, she really hates me. But you understand that she or he is caught up in their bullshit. It's nothing to do with you. So life becomes just an experiment in the moment to just enjoy and play with.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. So everyone, I hope you race out and get
Get
her.
this book, A Radical Awakening.
Yes. And she looks so pretty on the cover. And literally, Dr. Shefali, you like made me the coolest daughter. My mom is obsessed with you. So I was like, thank you. I can't say that enough. And
You're welcome, and good luck with all you're doing. I'm so proud of you. I love supporting young women. So thank you for writing to me and inviting me. Thank you, guys.
accepting. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.